I'm spitting fire verses with a higher purpose. On these accursed cops, I'm lurching with verbs scorching through their cute blue uniforms. I unibomb with words more true to life than true to form. It's violence when I words the truth in song. I'm spitting illin' while they steady slipping on the blood they spilling of the many young black men they killing. We ain't seen such savagery since Giuliani turned New York to a police state. From New York to Johannesburg, killers is still jakes. Government is still fake. Politicians still rape. The mind of our youth is at stake. Police brutality ain't nothing new. The Ku Klux Klan just changed colors from white to blue. And they still raping you. And you thought Malcolm was radical. It's not just racist, it's evil. It's these crooked cops that's lethal, not the weapons. Every year the situation worsens. They don't need sheets or burning crosses to lynch you. They don't just hang you, now they shoot you. One by one, 41 shots from a gun removes you. Bruise and abuse you. Brother just chilling on his porch got wasted. Later, verdict from the cops who did it, acquitted. Fuck angry, I'm livid. Determined to rip on the wicked. To let my rage blaze on for George Floyd's spirit. If each bullet accounts for one, if each bullet accounts for one prison sentence, one count of murder in cold blood, manslaughter and so forth, that's 41 shots, 41,000 cops. Let 41,000 cops hear it. 41 truths revealed on throats, feel it. But there's more than 41 ways to get back. More than 41 days to dead that. Don't forget that.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do when we come for you? Hey cops, hey cops. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when we come for you? Hey cops, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when we come for you? Hey cops, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
I don't know if you can hear me. Sorry, I'm just having a little trouble technically. Sharing. Okay, cool. So here we are. Welcome, Amber and Ashley. I'm Sarad with Mass Action. I'm with Tahia, Devorah, and Alexandria, who will be joining us shortly at the end with questions. Thank you for joining us. Queen's taking over the airways. It so happens that we had our first Say Her Name Freedom Forum 4 years ago today. And I didn't realize it until, I got the reminder on Facebook and I said, wow, everything happens for a reason, although it may not be, our plan and our intention. But as long as we do good things with our life energy and our breath, we take it a step forward for our ancestors. So we did that Freedom Forum in person 4 years ago today. It's a very different setting, and it was more of a historical compilation, taking us steps through, Harriet Tubman, Ida B. Wells, and going through the best that we could, documenting all of these lives that were lost in our recent history, due to police violence and police brutality and corruption of the state. And since then, so many people have been killed by the police and protected by the system. Amber, Ashley, and family, on behalf of the entire world, I am so sorry for the loss of your loved one. I'm saddened by it. And the way that your sister was hunted in her own home in front of her own family has shaken and haunted me since I've learned of it. And I'm sure it's touched everyone in the same way. We're here with you to share in the pain and the loss of a beautiful life, a treasure to her family and the world. Say her name, Atatiana Jefferson.
Thank you so much, guys, for having us here. Thank you for giving us this platform and this opportunity to amplify Atatiana's name. I guess I should start with how we ended up here. October 12th, 2019, about 2 a.m., Atatiana was in her home, or in her mom's home, actually, in her mom's home, just being regular, minding her business, playing video games with Zion, her then 8-year-old nephew, They were in the room playing video games and lost track of time, and the doors were open in the front of the house. Both doors are in the front of the house, so the doors were open. The neighbor suspected, it was a little unusual to him. So he called the non-emergency to have someone come over and just check out the scene, to make sure everything was all right. The officers get there, instead of them parking in front of the house like normal officers, they park around the block. They're dressed in all black, They come up to the house and don't acknowledge who they are, don't identify themselves, don't announce themselves, pass up one door, two doors that are completely open. The doors are open, but they have like screen doors. So when we say open, the main doors are open, but the screen doors are shut. So you can see all the way through. The lights were on, so you can see all the way through to the back of the house. No knock, no ring, no doorbell rung. The officer decided, him and his partner, because he was not alone, him and his partner decided to go around the side of my mom's house, and they spotted a gate. They decided to open up that gate. There was a lock on there, so they had to twist the lock just to get in. So, got into the backyard. Within seconds, saw a silhouette in the window, flash his light, said, "Put your hands up." Within seconds, y'all. Within seconds, just shot her. Within seconds, saw a body in the window and shot her. No time to put her hands down. No time to even possibly understand, oh, wait, these are the authorities. What are they doing here? From her point of view, on the inside, someone is creeping in the backyard of my mom's house. And I must tell my 8-year-old to duck down because I don't know there's an imposter. I don't know who's in the backyard. So that is how we end up here. The officer has been indicted, but he's not incarcerated. He was given time to actually resign. He wasn't fired. The police union actually, bailed him out. So he's out on bond. And, we have a docket coming up, but dockets are just dockets. And, right now we're demanding a speedy court hearing. Not a hearing, but a court date. They're telling us August. And I don't think we really want to wait until August because now that COVID has, we know how to work through COVID. We're starting to understand how to work through COVID. So I believe that now is the time to, just put the pedal to the metal and let's, do what needs to be done. Justice needs to be served and accountability needs to take place. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Amber. So not only was the police officer, Dean, allowed to resign, he didn't even answer any questions about the case, right?
No, we've not heard it. I know I haven't. Ashley, have you? I've never heard this man come out and speak.
No, I haven't heard anything. There was nothing.
So he's being completely protected by the police union in this matter.
Yeah, he chose not to speak, and he's not being forced to do anything.
So in the midst of all of this, could you give us a feel for the climate in Texas? We're based in Boston, and a lot of people don't realize that this is happening everywhere, including pretty much where everyone is. But what are some other cases that have been going on in your area around that time?
I guess they just did they had just finished up the Botham Jeans trial right before this. And that was in Dallas, Texas. He was killed in his home type situation. And then what was that? Darius Tarver, he was having a mental health situation and he was met with guns and was murdered right there at his house instead of giving him the attention that he needs for what he was going through. So it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. It's the South. We do understand that with just that dynamic alone. um, we're learning that, um, voting, who are your officials matter. If this hasn't taught us anything, it's who are the officials that really do matter. Your local officials matter. In such cases as ourselves, we have to deal with the DA and things like that. We have to deal with the mayor and the council people. So we don't have to deal with them, but we've been in contact with them. I'll say that. And so these are the people that who are our voice. The DA is now becomes our attorney in this situation. And you have to say, well, what does that person stand for? What do they believe? Are they going to prosecute this, as if this was a regular person, or, will there be special limitations? So voting, you need to ask those questions when it's time to vote, and, know who is in your who's representing you in your district, in your counties, and things like that.
Absolutely. I mean, just looking at Texas in the recent few years, I mean, we could go back, but Jordan Edwards,
Yeah.
the young man, this is just heartbreaking. It just honestly feels like every morning, looking at the news, just waking up to heartbreak, you know?
Yeah, we do. I mean, what was this? We just had an incident. Marvin Scott, he was killed in police custody. They won't release the footage. They put those people on. Those police are on unpaid administrative leave. Um, it's so much. It is so much. You just had a guy got picked up. Um, it's just so much. So it's like, I mean, that was just this, in the last couple of weeks. It's like, when does it stop? When do you have, you're always on alert, always on alert. So, um, and you don't want to live like that. You don't want to live your life in fear, but, you have to be aware that, you have to be alert.
And alert when? Like in your own home at 2 o'clock in the morning, when you're hanging out with your friends, when you're hanging out by yourself on your couch, when you're going to the pool with your friends at, McKinney swimming pool, when you're driving down the street, like Sandra Bland, like when are you going
It,
to feel safe? Like when you're pumping gas, like Deshia Smalls, when you're a little 1-year old sitting in the back seat, like when are we going to, how are we going to feel safe? Are we putting our lives in the hands of the DA? Like, what is the DA doing in any of these cases? So, whew, it's a lot. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about, just kind of take a step back from like the politics of it all, but bring it back into the home. Like, what has how has this affected your family? I know that since we met over the summer in Minneapolis at the Mothers March, we became, social media friends, and um, I saw Tatiana's nephew leading a children's march. So can you tell me about the younger generation, how they're dealing with this?
um, well, I'll say for me, I'll let Amber speak, I guess, for us, our nephews, and, how has it affected them. For me, this has been hard. This has been really hard. We had to, be with our mother during this time. She was hospitalized when all this was going on. And, being at a hospital every day and being able to fight for your child is, it's a place to be. It's a place that I don't want anyone, it was a horrible place to be. Um, and then losing our mother in January of 2020, um, I can say that I felt like I was in a haze most of the year. It was just, I did function, I did go to work and things like that. But was I really present? No, I was not. I was just basically doing what I need to, survive and work on myself. You really have to learn how to work on yourself because this is a lot. It becomes your life is a lot by itself, but then you add all the extra additives to, the family dynamic, the family circle, because we lost two immediate people in our family circle in, 2 months. And, that takes a lot of adjusting too. And I don't think any of us is, completely adjusted. We're just, trying to realize what really went on. So in the midst of all of that, we still have to figure out how to fight for justice for our sister and things like that. So it's like, when do we grieve? When do we, able to have that moment to grieve? And we really haven't. And I don't think we will till, at least to after the trial. Amber.
I guess I can speak on when it comes to how our family has been since the tragedy. I can speak for Zion's sake. It's been tough because we're speaking of a child who already had issues before any of this, and now just added more to his very small plate. He feels as though the weight of the world is on his shoulders every day, and he has good days, but he also has those tough days. We've done therapy. Our sessions have ended. We're in the process of starting a new session through a new group. But therapy is great to have someone to talk to. But for Zion's sake, because he is a kid and he doesn't quite understand, I feel like he needs so much more than just this COVID-19 therapy. You know what I mean? So we went camping this weekend, and he was able to learn some little lessons from camping, and it was a great experience. But yeah, it's like Ashley says, I can totally second her and say that it's just a lot. It's so much that I don't know if I could. I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know. It's really hard to explain, like the emotions and the mental, because you have good days. Don't get me wrong. It's not like every day is, crazy, but there are moments that you just cannot even explain, like simple
And they come
things.
from any, they come at sporadic times.
Yeah.
It's not something planned,
No warning. And it doesn't come with a warning. Yeah, and it could be anywhere. It could
and you
be
can,
anywhere.
and we have good, we have, good memories, of people, of Tay. We call her Tay. So if you hear us say of Tay, that's that big name from us. But we do have wonderful memories, and it's just sad that's what it is. It's like that's just memories, because she didn't live a life of recklessness. She was very together for a 28-year-old, She was
Yeah,
very about her
28 year
business.
old.
Yeah, she was about her business. She was more together than a lot of people who are close to retirement type situation. You know, when she had a plan, um, she executed it with no hesitation, regardless of what was thrown at her. And that was the plan, you know, while she was, you know, living with my mom to help her with her health and also save funds so that she can go to school because she wanted to go to school full time, but she didn't want to be, you know, the broke college student again because, you know, we've all been there. And, you know, she had a plan and, this was like a monkey rich in her plan of being great. And it's just that's why it hurts, you know, because she was just so amazing. She was just so amazing. And she was so and her voice. She wasn't a loud person. She wasn't a loud person. Um, but when she talked, you wanted to hear what she had to say. So it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. And it's stuff that comes at you from all different angles, from you know things that you would never think of, and you're just like, you know, I'll tell you like this: it becomes a second full time job with
Yeah,
overtime, and you're not getting paid for none of it. But
yeah,
your heart wants to be there because all you want to do is fight for justice. So when you're at your regular job, you're just doing that to, you know, make your ends meet. But where you really want to be is out in them streets, you know, screaming my sister's name and you know, getting you know, the accountability that she deserves.
Yes, and you know, even with COVID, you know, I'm definitely out there in spirit from hundreds and possibly thousands of miles away, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. But what have you been doing recently to further the case as you wait for it to go to trial?
Well, recently we had did a protest in front of the DA's office. Amber, you want to talk about that?
yes. I mean that that's just what it was. It was just a protest. Not just a protest, but we protested in front of the DA's office early one morning. You know, while they were walking into work. We stayed there about 12ish. And that's just pretty much it. Just out there letting them know that we haven't forgotten and neither should they.
Absolutely. And I saw also that there was a wrongful death suit that was also launched as well late last year. That it was set forth in federal court in the Northern District of Texas, um, alleging that the officer or ex-officer Dean's conduct demonstrated a deliberate and indifference to and a conscious disregard for the constitutional rights and safety of Tay. And you know, I remember how it was reported in the news, and you know, as a black woman in this country or really in this world, when I hear the news, it's like I hear the words coming out of their mouth, but I also see the words in between the lines, you know. And I do remember in one of the first reports that um, they mentioned that she had a gun, you know, and it was kind of like not necessarily put forth in the news in a way that um, you know, it was rather ambiguous, the way that they put it forth, but it was clearly found that, you know, she had a right to draw her weapon. You know, they didn't announce themselves. You know, the body cam evidence showed that they didn't announce themselves, and you know, you pointed out all of the things that were wrong. They, you know, went past the gate. They didn't go to the front door. They didn't announce themselves, and it just happened so fast. you know, and this guy, Dean, was basically in a position where there had been issues. He had issues before, and the city of Fort Worth had failed to reprimand him. That was part of the suit as well for prior instances of excessive force and failing to adequately, train the officers. So, there were complaints about him, quote, exhibiting a pattern of escalating encounters with the public. Also, that they encourage policies and practices and customs with deliberate indifference to the rights of citizens. Now, that sounds like a very familiar way that, you know, officers are getting away with behaving. And, it seems like it's less about the individual and more about the culture of not only just one police station, but like an entire county, an entire state, an entire country. Um, so this is a pattern, and there are some things that definitely hurt me to watch, to hear and see on these press conferences. So it's so important. Like I don't want to necessarily play all of that because it could be possibly, re-traumatizing. I think the in just my unprofessional opinion, the best thing is to control your narrative, and to really get the word out about the things that weren't in the news, the things that weren't emphasized, the things that are happening, the ups and downs that you're experiencing every time they push back a court date, or every day that this police officer or ex-police officer and his supervisors and his city and his jurisdiction is not held responsible. Every day that the DA doesn't do his job. Um, you know so so we'll definitely keep following this case. What is the next court date that they have proposed at this point?
Right now, we have a motions docket on March 24th. So hopefully, tentatively, maybe by, we haven't been, like I keep saying, this is a totally new chartered waters that we are in, so we don't know, but I am hoping that is when they will be able to set a date of when the trial will be.
All right, so we should definitely, we will definitely stay in touch and help push from all sides. We'll get that DA on speed dial if we have to, and if we can't do it, let our feet do the walking out to Texas. We'll definitely dial with our fingers, and put the pressure on in the social media and the media. Not only are we going to say her name out in the streets, but we're going to say her name and let everyone know that we're not going to rest until this case is won, because it's that much more of a deterrent from it happening again. Many of these police officers are repeat offenders, and just like the county would be a reoffender, for all of the things that are allowed to recur. Um, so aside from the case right now, kind of moving at the pace of the state with it, what else are you working on? I know you mentioned there's the foundation that was launched last year.
Yeah. So in the midst of, all of this, of me and my siblings trying to figure out, how to use our platform to help others, that, type situation. We started a nonprofit called the Atatiana Project. And its goals is to bring and expose STEM to sorry, expose STEM to urban communities. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I don't know why. I say this all the time. But so that's our goal. We want to bring what Tay was doing with Zion to the community, which is, gaming, science projects, and engineering. We're working on a curriculum now, and we're going to do some robotics, and we're hoping to be able to maybe do a small mini camp where the kids are able to build gaming consoles and learn how to program them, and then they'll be able to take them home. It's all about just exposing them to different STEM opportunities so that they can know that there are other options. You don't have to be a doctor or a lawyer. Not saying that those things are not great, because that's what Tay wanted to do. But if we wanted to give them just the exposure to whatever thing, other things that they could do. So right now we're trying to find a facility, and hopefully we can do that within the coming year, and just expand that idea out of gaming centers. It's going to be gaming centers, but with STEM and things of that nature. Um, we What else could I say? Did I miss something, Amber?
No, I think you said it all. That she really said a lot. But to just sum it up in a nutshell, we're just introducing STEM to the communities that don't usually receive any type of resources in that area, and show them how video games don't have to be just video games. You can actually make a career out of it, and an actual successful career out of it, because there's a lot of money in the video game industry. Thank you.
That's amazing. That sounds like so much fun, and I think every community needs more of that. Um, so we look forward to seeing how that project develops, and we'll definitely on the back end, put up the links for that. And the beautiful website that's been created, atatianaproject.org. I encourage everyone to peruse through it. It's just, you know, although the events that brought us to this focal point are very sad, you know, it's very evident that Tatiana was a beautiful person with a beautiful spirit that lives on through all of this fight and all of this good work that her family and community is doing. How what type of support do you and your family need, and how how can we help from afar?
Well, as I said, we're new to this. This is we're just building, as we're extremely, I guess they would call it a grassroots situation. So we're open to, anyone who wants to help us, raise awareness for Tatiana, or connect us, or even know anyone who, have any connections to grants or any donations for our nonprofit, or any building situations. You're learning that a nonprofit it's a business, and you have to learn about business credit and things of that nature. And so taxes, I'm just saying, because we are really trying to make this as large as possible. One of the things we say in our business plan is, we're starting in Fort Worth, but our goal is to branch out to more major cities and urban areas, to expose as many kids as possible, so we can have a whole bunch of Tays, and enough to make a difference into the next generation. So basically saying all that is that, anything, if you feel like your I guess I would say your gifts could help us do those things, do that work, please reach out. Because I can't say, I only need this, because I don't know, different people have different gifts. I'll say that. I'll give an example. There was a a local cafe in Fort Worth who reached out to us, and they made an ice cream sandwich in honor of Tay for a moment of time. And they sold it, and they gave certain proceeds to the Tatiana Project. I had never thought of that idea type situation, but I was definitely grateful that these people used their gifts to, still influence and be a part of our foundation. So so that's just an example of, anything that, anything is possible. We're always willing to work with people because we know that the more people we connect with, the more people know her name, and, her legacy will be able to live on.
Absolutely. That's so sweet. It just made me smile thinking about that, when you said we want to have a whole bunch of taste, and the ice cream sandwich, right? So definitely people who are listening, go to atatianaproject.org, and there's a place where you can just click on get involved and put your contact information in there, and just leave them a message, let them know how you can get involved, and that's where it all begins. um so just kind of taking a look at the larger view of everything, was there anything that surprised you regarding the response and the conduct of different individuals and organizations in this journey that you've been on?
Um, I have learned that, it's the community, is just gonna keep us through this. I guess a lot of people will say, oh, this was a national story, and a lot of people were on it, but it got real, it's real quiet right now type situation. It was hot for a second, and the media moved on. And what has helped us, to keep pushing through is grassroots community, organizations, and two of them in particular, Enough is Enough in Fort Worth, and United My Fort Worth. These people have, been there to help us, through. So we're learning that, you know, yeah, the national media, is cool, but it's not going to stay forever. And you have to, you got to connect with that community that you're in, to help you. But it's that they connect with you. That's what, I'm learning that we're open, that they'll connect with you, and they're actually trying to look out for us because they want justice and they feel the pain because it's their community as well.
I have two more questions, and then we'll start going around with my lovely co-hosts. Um, what has been the most effective for your family so far, um, just in order to increase awareness?
What has been the most effective so far? Wow.
And because we're learning from each other, there's so many
Hmm.
people that are trying to do this in different settings. Each place has a little something special about it, but we really do have more in common. So it's important, I think, to share some of the things that have worked so that we can all kind of grow together.
Yeah, I would say the connecting with the community organizations, the community activists. Um, so because they have more connect, well, they have not want to say more. They do their branches off of people that they want to just help. So that part I feel like has been helpful. I do believe that social media presence, I know that's kind of, I don't want to say cliche or, but that's something, that's where the media is now. That's where people get their news from. Um, so we have to learn how to have a social media presence on all platforms, or all different platforms, and so that you can get awareness of a Tatiana to everybody type situation. So we're definitely learning that.
Okay, and Amber, and hey, we are all working on it too. We are all, there's just more social media going on. It's like it's more than 24/7. It's like every single moment of the day, you know?
Right. And you have, we're gonna first start with Instagram, then you got Facebook, then we on TikTok, Snapchat, Clubhouse. It's like how many, that's become an all-day job too.
Right? Yeah. So as I was speaking with Amber the other day, we're talking about a lot of things. But one of them is like, no matter how hard it is, what can you, or rather, can you advise other families that are suffering and don't know how to get attention or answers for their case? Like, luckily you did have a community response. There was something in the news. There was community support out of the gate, right? But for those who are suffering alone, and they don't know where to start, what do you think would be a good first step? And maybe it seems like I've been asking the same question 3 different ways, but I think that's one of the hardest things, like having a protest in your city. You might envision that everyone thinks this is wrong and everyone can, be there with you. And the numbers, the actual heads that show up can be misleading because, well, number one, it's COVID. Number two, people are struggling. They got to go to work, or they have certain limitations where they just can't necessarily be out there in the way that you're out there, So, I think one of the things I've seen in Boston is just don't get discouraged. Like, no matter what the number is, as long as you're out there and you're standing up and you're doing the right thing, people can follow your lead. And I think that, all the way from Boston, me seeing your family in Texas standing up, especially the younger generation, I find that to be so inspiring because, just watching this happen is just so heartbreaking. So if I could answer my own question, I would say, follow the lead of your family, because I think you all are doing a great job and it's commendable. And I
Yeah,
want you
well,
to share that with your nephews as well.
I'll say we with you in the number situation. Me and Amber was having this conversation that we're learning that it's not going to be droves of people that comes out.
Yeah.
And but it's the quality of people that comes out and they're there. There's a lot of them that are there all the time. So yeah, sometimes we had a protest one time, it was like 20 people, and so I don't want you to see when we say, oh yeah, we had a protest, we did it, but it still happened. Because like you said, we still want to make sure that because the goal is to make sure that to let the world know that we did not forget about her, and accountability needs to be happen.
And also, I could add real briefly, I feel as though the family set the tone. So in the beginning, whatever tone is set, the tone that, you know, the family is given, the energy that the family is given, whatever the tone, the set tone is how the community, you know, will receive it as well. So I would tell anyone who's going through something like this not to be so passive and to be very aggressive and to stand 10 toes down and stand on what you truly, truly, truly believe in and not to be easily persuaded. Thank you.
And so, oops. Now we're gonna start just doing the whole round table. And you can feel free. I know Tahia's dying to turn on her camera, but I'll just put on mine real quick. Hey, Tahia is gonna be giving her set of questions.
Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for sharing your sister's story and ultimately your family story. So, you know, as a sister in this fight as well, I definitely understand the importance of family and people sticking together. I was so happy to hear that the community, especially the grassroots organizations, have been standing behind you and supporting you. And I know here in Boston, at least with Mass Action, we don't get paid either, right? But people, as a grassroots organization, we put the time in to make sure that we support our families as much as possible. Are there any organizations that have helped you out, grassroots organizations in your particular town, that you just want to shout out really quickly? I know for us, we put a lot of time in behind the scenes, and you know, by the time we show up to a whether it be a rally or march, and like you said, whether it be 5 people, 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, it's about the heart of it all and making sure that the voices are heard. So, are there any particular organizations that you just want to quickly shout out?
I could start with Enough is Enough in Fort Worth. That's a civil organization in Fort Worth. I
Yeah.
guess Next Gen is Next Generation Action Network. In the beginning, you know, they were very, very helpful. Ashley, do you want to shout anybody out?
I would say you got those two. United My Fort Worth. No, United My Fort Worth.
And to follow up on that, what are the other families that you've been working with?
In this fight, you become friends with a lot of families. I guess they'll say it, you know, when it's said out, you know, the formal way is that it's this fraternity that no one wants to be a part of. So you're able to relate, you know, to the loss and all that comes with it. We've Korean Gaines' mom has been, you know, instrumental with us.
It's Rhonda.
Miss Rhonda. We
Alyssa.
Alyssa Bolton Jean's sister has been instrumental. We have
There's a lot of
it's a lot of them, yeah. Darius Tarver's family, you know, Natasha Duncan, she's Chantel Davis' sister, you know, Victoria Davis, you know, Darrell Small's, she's Darrell Small's sister. You know, we're even part of this group called Sisters of the Movement, where, you know, it's literally a group of sisters who got together, you know, and want to bring our pain together and fight, you know, the policies that are hindering or has hindered justice for our loved ones. And you know, Sandra Bland's sister, you know, Shantae, she has been, you know, really cool in helping us, you know, just different people. Miss Wanda, Ahmad's Aubrey's mom, you know, we have, you know, we've been able to talk to each other about, you know, different things that we're going through and different parts of the trial so that we all can, you know, get knowledge of what to expect, because this is literally, you know, all it's new for us, you know, this side of the law. Well, it's the law period, you know, type situation. um so it's like it's been, Miss Gina Best, India Kager's mom, you know, these people have, you know, reached out to us and just said, hey, we're here for you. You know, you need to you call these people at random times, especially when there's another name added to the list. The calls just start coming, and it becomes, it's like a, you know, it's a wound that, you know, gets more lashings, you know, type situation, because I wouldn't say it's healing at all, you know, it's just we're learning to exist with it. um so but we're just open to being with these families and understanding that, you know, all our voices are powerful, and they're, you know, extremely powerful when they're put together.
So the other thing is, earlier you guys spoke about, you know, it's important to understand who we're voting in, the DAs and the mayors. Has your DA or and mayor responded to you in any way, and have you approached them? Um,
Well, you know, we can't like really talk about our case because it's like open and a gag order
got it.
placed
Okay,
on it situation.
gotcha. Got it. So in lieu of that, definitely everything that you said about, you know, families coming together is so important. And it's beautiful to hear that all of those families have surrounded you and put their arms around you. Um, and um, and unfortunately, this is the fraternity or sorority that no one wants to be a part of. But since we're here, you know, the fact that we're supporting each other becomes really impactful. Um, and I know there is a Say Her Name event coming up soon, you know, with the Say Her Name committee. Are you guys a part of that?
No, I haven't heard anything, but we would
No,
definitely like to be a part of it, most definitely.
Yes, actually, it's gonna be. I think they're doing a session on Thursday, March 25th, so the day after your upcoming court date. Um, and there's a registration link for that. Gina Best is promoting that, and you know, many of the women you mentioned, I'm sure, will be a part of that. So I think, you know, that's something I signed up for as soon as I found out about it, and I think they're doing great work. So let's check it out. And we'll put the information in the in the final edit for that one. Um, while we're talking about upcoming events, do you have something happening in April?
Um, we have we have two events coming up. The first event is a virtual event on March 27th at 1 o'clock. It's gonna be streamed live from either our Facebook or Instagram, one of those. But it's an estate planning seminar. What we're learning is that yes, millennials do not have estate plans, and we need to educate our community about those things because you know, the edible is that death is real, and so you want to, when you leave this world, you want to leave your family with as least stress as possible of knowing, you know, what your final words or what your final wishes will be. So we're hosting a virtual seminar where we'll talk about wills, final arrangements, life insurance, things like that, because, you know, we want our community to be equipped with the correct information, you know, and you know how some people will, you know, say, well, not let GoFundMe, you know, crowd surfing all the time for funeral expenses because it happens. So we want to, you know, just do that part. And then April 17th, we're supposed to be, there should be a day of prayer in honor of Atatiana in the right next to the house situation. So look out for our. There should be a flyer soon regarding that on our social media, and we'll be, to give you more information. But it'll be in Fort Worth.
That sounds really good. It looks like you're hitting things from all sides in a creative way, you know, to cover necessary bases, not only for the people of your area, but I think everybody can benefit. So I'll be there for sure, and we'll make sure that we amplify, you know, your demands and, you know, what you're working on as things progress. Tahia, do you have another question?
No, this is Say Her Name. I just wanted to acknowledge we have Tina Coleman, who is a sister of Terrence Coleman, who was murdered here in Massachusetts in 2016. But just as another sister in this fight, I just wanted to acknowledge that she was here supporting you guys as well.
Hey, I'm definitely here. Sorry for your loss, and I agree with what Sarat said. No matter the numbers, just know that we have your back, no matter how far we are.
I appreciate that, you know, and being part, you know, standing, you know, as they say, standing in the gap with us. Yes, because it is definitely needed. Because there are definitely days where you do feel, you know, it's quiet and we feel like it's just us. So we appreciate you, you know, just taking the time and coming in here and, you know, spreading your love to us. We appreciate that so much.
Thank you.
And there's one more question. We touched on this before, but what does justice mean to you?
For me, I think we spoke about that before, and I told you I really didn't quite understand justice, because justice for me would have been my sister still being here. You know, justice for me would have been for the police to actually come out and knock and actually acknowledge who they were. That would have been justice for us, or for me. But right now, justice for me is accountability. So I'm just hoping and praying that that's what we'll get. You know, accountability is justice. If I had to just choose what justice is, accountability. Thank you.
And thank you both. Killer cops and cell blocks until we win. Justice for all.
So we win.
Justice for Atatiana. Justice for Tay.
Justice for Atatiana.
Justice for Tatiana.
Justice with Tatiana.
Justice for Tatiana. Yes.
I had a dream that I was walking with my people. Everyone was equal. Dream. The damage was done. Now here comes the sun. Dream. Humanity stands for peace. Oh, in my dream. Dream. I woke up from the dream. To my ancestors, it was calling me, telling me to breathe deep. Breathe. I can breathe. Hey. And they were telling me to breathe. Breathe. Telling me to breathe. Breathe. The time is now. This is a revolution. This is an evolution. We take time so we can breathe. Breathe. Freedom. Breathe. Breathe.
We did it, y'all. We did it. I'm so excited. We did it together, y'all.
Are we all done? This is beautiful.
Yeah. Wait, let me pause the recording.
The
Hey,
car
thanks.
sister. Thank you.